Om Sahanavavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sadhuryam Karavavahai Tevinavadi Tamastuma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. If we are, hopefully, if we are trying to be spiritual, we don't know if we are really trying to be spiritual. Is it compatible with our daily life? Or is it something in a different compartment altogether? Hi, Jyoti. Or can we, while being spiritual, or to put it the other way, while living in this world, be spiritual? Not spiritus, that's easily available in bottles. Spiritual. So, the reason why I am here, not here in this world, is because my teacher, Maheshwarnath Babaji, and his teacher Sri Guru Babaji have put me in here with a certain agenda. They have an agenda. Jhanda nahi, magar agenda hai. So the agenda is that to live like you all live normally, and I hope you're normal. Actually, we are not really normal, but it doesn't matter. Start with that we are all normal. Wear clothes like you, have a haircut like you, and so on. And yet, have your core anchored perfectly in the spiritual. I think this is possible. Yeah, you have to make some changes in your lifestyle and so on. I agree, I understand that. But that's more internal than, if you look at my personal life, I might be more austere than a monk. But externally, I'm not a monk. I have a family, you know that. Many people know that. I have a family. Now the second question is it possible to adjust and live a life with a family and so on? I'm not saying you should. You may also be alone. There's no harm in that. But suppose you have a family. Is it necessary to be spiritual? Throwing the family away and become spiritual? Or can we live and gradually bring the other party also to your point of view? When I say other party, you know what. So this should be this is the aim of my life here, which is why we are having all these satsangs and I meet people, talk to them. And I want it to be a truly open satsang. I don't want you to feel that I am going on talking something in a monologue and you're listening and going home. It comes in through here and goes off to the other side and we are back to square one. No. You are free to ask, not political questions, you are free to ask me any questions relating to the spiritual life. And how is it possible to lead a lead a worldly life and as well as keep anchored in the core of your spiritual being. This is very important to note. Otherwise, it becomes kind of meaningless. Yeah, there may be somebody who is in total ecstasy living in a cave. What does it matter to us? Can we do it? Is it possible for us to do it? This is the question. So in these sessions, today and tomorrow, we are going to have also dialogues, not only me talking, but also dialogue. You can also talk. I mean, don't talk, but you know what I mean. You can, but the question should be of a serious nature. It should be concerning your spiritual life and concerning your normal, ordinary life, and is it possible to link them together based on that theme. I would welcome questions because this is not new. I am not doing it for the first time. It's an ancient 3,000 or more year tradition of dialogue. The key point, if you go to the Upanishads or to the Gita, is samvad, dialogue. When you say dialogue, it means not that I am trying to press my points on your head and you are trying to press your ideas into my head. We are looking at something together. This is a dialogue. Otherwise it's an argument. It's not a dialogue anymore. So, there is a beautiful sloka which for thousands of years or so been chanted before the beginning of anything auspicious, before the beginning of a teaching session or the beginning of a dialogue. It's been chanted for ages, nothing new. What we think is new is usually old wine in new bottles. This is what Jesus said. He said it's old wine in new bottles. He said, I have not come to destroy the law but to fulfill it. I'm not a Christian missionary, don't be worried. So what did I say? I thought we'll start the dialogue. Yeah, old, not old wine. Somebody stuck on wine now. Chant. Yes. I said there is an ancient chant. If you talk about wine, I can get drunk in 1 second without wine. So the chant. You might have heard it many times. It's chanted in many places. But just give attention to the meaning of the chant, what it means. Om. If I start explaining Om, all 2 satsangs, 3 satsangs will be Om. So let's say Om as a divine sound, okay? Om. Sahana bhavatu. Sahano bhunaktu. Sahaviryam karavavahai. Tejasvina tamastu. Ma vidvishava. See, isn't it so beautiful? Even if you don't know the meaning, I know many of you might know, but even if you don't, it's in the sound of the language so nice. It's so much more beautiful to say Sahana bhavatu than say let both of us be protected. Both of us be protected, meaning is okay, but it falls flat. In the audition test, it fails. Sahana bhavatu. May you and I be protected. Why I am saying this is because the whole thing is not about me, but about you and me. And we'd like to put you first and then me next. There are people who say, I and my wife, even today. Why can't you say my wife and I went out for a walk? So, Sahana bhavatu, Sahano bhunaktu. Let both of us be nourished. Sahaviryam karavavahai. May the energies, the virya in both of us increase. Right? So, have you noted that there is one word which keeps occurring? What is that word? Saha. Saha. Which means two. You and I. Ultimately is one, but you and I. So, may both of us who are sitting here, you and I, even I need some protection, be protected. May we be nourished. Now, protected from what? Let's start. What are we to be protected from? First, it's physical, which you can sort out by drinking sambucas. I don't know what it is. But first is physical health. May we be protected, because if you don't have physical health, you cannot even sit like this and listen or think. You know that if you don't eat for 10 days, your brain becomes so weak it cannot even think. So, also protected from nature. We are safe. The wind comes, the rain comes, no problem. So may we be protected. When I started out today from Bangalore, people scared me out of my wits. They said, Delhi, it's freezing. One good friend said, bring woolen socks, it's freezing. Sitting here. I hope you all got some dozens of socks for me. And they said this morning flight is not going to land. It's going to go round and round because there's fog in Delhi. I'm telling you something very practical. What happens? And generally they don't take off at 5:15 from Bangalore. Believe me, I simply said to myself, Sahana Bhavatu, and got into the flight and landed 10 minutes before time. There was no fog today and this lovely sunshine outside. Question is, do we really understand or believe all these things? I'm not talking, I'm not boasting, I'm just trying to tell you. Vivek said there is fog in Delhi. I said we'll have a chartered plane, don't worry. It was not okay, normal plane. So may we be protected from landing at the right time, getting off at the right time, not getting caught in a whirlwind and so on, which is very important physically. It also means next step, Sahanao Bhunaktu, may we be nourished properly. One, physical nourishment, and two, mental nourishment. Usually we end up reading useless things, wasting our time sitting before the TV and seeing nonsense. Can we get proper nourishment from important things like good music, good reading, good people? So what is a satsang? Satsang is when there are like-minded people sitting together and examining a problem together. What is the opposite of a satsang? Dursanga, which means you go to a group where you are completely misled. It may even go under the name of satsang. Believe me, this is Kali Yuga. So, may we be nourished. So please today in the satsang, have good lunch, have good dinner, good breakfast. We are not doing any fasting session right now, which is good of course in some way, but different. So, sahaviryam, so that our energies grow. Vitality, virya is vitality. May our vitality grow, increase. Tejasvina vaditamastu, may the spiritual fire shine in us. Then the last one is ma vidvishavai. Let's not fight and argue and quarrel with each other. Vidvishavai. Let's cooperate, let's understand. Think that you and I are going to look at something and try to understand. Not you are not imposing, anyway you can't, your ideas on my head. Nor am I trying to impose my ideas into you. We are looking at it together. This is a dialogue. Now, comes with a caveat, which is, there is a beautiful Upanishad called the Prashna Upanishad. The name itself indicates what? Question. Upanishad of questions. So 3 young men. Sometimes I wonder why there isn't any woman in there. Anyway, doesn't matter. 3 young men, that's going to happen now in future. 3 young men who themselves are children of great Rishis. sons of great Rishis. The father sends them to study, to understand the truth to some other Rishi. See, he doesn't say, I know everything, I'll teach you. He sends him somewhere else. And these three boys come to the great Rishi Uddalaka Aruni. And they say, we are so and so, we have come from this place. This is our heritage. There's nothing wrong in being proud of your heritage. You know, donkeys have no heritage, they're not proud. So, says, we are coming from this particular background. My father has sent us to study the truth from you. Please teach us the truth. So, it's very interesting. The Rishi doesn't say, go to the internet, my course is already there. Or he doesn't say, okay, here is your answer, take it. This is the truth. It's very interesting. Read the Prashna Upanishad. The Rishi says, please live with me for a year. Please live with me for a year. At the end of the year, if I know, I will teach you. Can you imagine a great Rishi like Uddalaka Aruni saying, you live with me for 1 year, at the end of it, if I know, I will teach you the truth. What does that mean? Does it mean he doesn't know? Or does it mean something else? It means this particular search for the truth, which many are engaged in, you can call it God, or you can call it truth, you can call it the spirit. God is out of fashion nowadays. So after Richard Dawkins wrote The God Delusion, nobody says God now anymore. So leave the word truth, let's say, Satyam. So when you want to find the truth, it's not as if it can be taught through words. Yeah, it can be taught in words in the sense you can say, okay, you go up to here. That's it. After that, it's an experience that happens which is beyond the words. So when the Rishi says, live with me for a year, it means when they live with... Now please don't say that you want to live with me for a year. Live with me for a year, it means... No, but there is a problem here, which is these three boys were very serious. And and they were not seeking any shortcuts. So, anyway. So, live with me for a year. Now, living with a teacher who has had the spiritual experience, one begins to slowly get the feel of it. It's not that it flashes suddenly. You get the feel of it. You watch that person in action. You watch the person in different circumstances. And you look at this person when he's meditating, when he's eating, when he's walking, and when he's teaching. And gradually you imbibe the essence which he has already touched. Which is why he said, this live with me for a year is just a metaphor. That year part is a metaphor. It means live with me for some time before you begin to understand what I'm trying to say about something which even the Upanishads say, yad vaja anabhutitam, words cannot understand. Make you understand. And then in the end he says, at the end of it, if I know, I will teach you, which is just giving them one shot at the ego, saying, if you think you already know, you don't. It's not that he says, if I know, I'm sure he knows. Now, is that so complicated that even words cannot describe? So what is the point? We are saying that all this is said to clear the truth from all the cobwebs that we gather around it and think it is this. And it is so simple. Someone said, it's nearer to you than your own jugular vein. So it's right here in every one of us. It's not as if it is far off that you have to run there. In fact, when all running stops, it is. Suppose the truth, the Brahman or the reality or the truth or the Satya, whatever you want to call it, suppose it's there at the end of the corridor and I am sitting here and I want to find it, then of course I have to move, I have to reach. What happens if something is everywhere? How do I go about it? The Ishavasya Upanishad says, Ishavashyamidam sarvam. It pervades everything here. If it pervades everything here, how am I going to reach it? Because I can't, it's here. So what happens? When all reaching stops, when all desire ceases, when all reaching stops, when all stretching stops, when I'm completely quiet and peaceful, that's called surrender. Not going and holding somebody's feet and saying, I surrender to you. If you do that to me, I'll run away from you. So it means I have found out that my mind cannot find it. Ordinary mind. I have found out, meaning I'm just talking like somebody else now. I have figured out that this limited being called M, if it is limited, cannot actually find the unlimited. First, that arrogance that I can find it because I'm fixed should go. When that goes, then the mind is quiet and still and steady. When this happens, this is the state called surrender, because I know that there is no point in doing all the circus. I stopped all circus and I sit. And where do I sit? In my heart, in your heart. We don't find it anywhere else. All other representations of this truth are meant to bring your attention to it. Finally you go back and look within. And when you look within, in every human being's heart, as Gita, Krishna says in the Gita, the one who knows that I sit in every heart and that every heart sits in me. Now Krishna here is not talking as Krishna, he's talking about the Supreme Being. When one realizes that the Supreme Reality is in every heart, and therefore every living being is a moving temple of the Divine. And when one realizes that in absolute silence you are in touch with it in yourself, you can't get in touch with you, I can get in touch with that which is within. Those who have touched it have said that when that is touched and understood, nothing more remains to be understood. Which means there is no other desire left. In the sense that one is fulfilled completely. Why do we lead our life? Why do we do this? Why do we do that? Because we want fulfillment, right? Fulfillment. What if I touch something that is completely fulfilling? Purna. Purnamada, Purnamidam. It's completely full. Then where do I go? I live in peace and happiness within me. And when I see it in here, it can't be that I am an exception, it must be in every heart. So whether you know it or not, if I see it, then I should bow down to everybody. Because every living being is divine. So these 2 days of satsang are going to be how to touch that spark of the divine which is in all of us, which doesn't discriminate between you and me because your name is different or your background is different. It's there. So if you say, if it is there, why are we not seeing it? Because the mind over years, maybe lives, many lives, if you believe in many lives, has gathered a lot of muck which is hiding this spark. And the whole process of spiritual practice and the spiritual journey is to identify the muck. It may be different in different people. And clean it. And when the mind becomes nirmal akada, when the mind becomes nirmal with no impurity, which means hardly even an iota of selfishness. Such a mind is automatically calm. One doesn't have to work through. Why do we get agitated? Because I want to get something and somebody else is going to take it away from me. Why do I get agitated? Because somebody is looking very happy and I am not. There's jealousy. The worst thing that one can have, because nothing to do with me. Somebody is happy and I am unhappy. Can you imagine this? Can I be happy when the other person is happy? Or why is it reverse? Because I think that by that person being happy is taking away some happiness from me. Not true. You are, in true essence, every one of you, spark of the divine which is called Satchidananda. The supreme reality. Even Krishna in his absolute aspect is called Satchidananda. Not as sitting in the battlefield or running around with the gopis. But in the ultimate aspect, Krishna is also called Satchidananda. In the state where I was born and come from, there was a great yogi, devotee, whose name was Pundanam. He was a Nambudri, who was not a scholar or anything of the kind. Just a simple soul. So the story is that after a great deal of prayer, in Kerala there is a temple called Guruvayur. I cannot go there, I'm not allowed. In Guruvayur temple, there is a Krishna there, nice little baby. And Pundanam used to be a great devotee of Krishna, the Supreme Being as Krishna. And he didn't have a child. So he used to walk up, which you can't imagine now, about 25 kilometers every day, to pray and ask for a child. That was his ultimate satisfaction. So, a child was born, so he thought it was his blessings. Doesn't matter what, but a child was born. And for the child, there is a ceremony in Kerala which is called giving food. It's there everywhere. First food is, when you feed the child for the first time. So, a lot of people had gathered for the ceremony, for feeding the child. What happened? This little baby was lying in one corner, and all the ladies who had come wanted to change their clothes and dress in the best clothes available, took off their old clothes and dumped them in the corner. The baby was inside, nobody knew. The child died of suffocation. A big heap of clothes there. When the time came to feed the child, they looked around and found that it was a dead child. So, from that time, this man, Pundanam's mind completely changed. He started thinking of Krishna as his child, no other child. Other people would have committed suicide or done something. He said, the child is there, but it's not here, it's only there. And he became a great devotee. 24 hours he was absorbed in Krishna. Why I brought this story in is because when he describes Krishna, he says, Krishna Krishna Mukunda Janardana Krishna Govinda Narayana Hare, Achyudananda Govinda Madhava, Satchidananda Narayana Hare, Satchidananda. So Satchidananda is the word used in Vedanta to describe the ultimate truth, the supreme. So what is Satchidananda? Becoming little by little, slowly we travel, till we reach a stage where we don't need to travel. I don't know when that will happen to me. I'm already 69. My friends know how I'm traveling, I mean physically. But the mind is not traveling, it's in one place. Physically, yes. The mind is at rest. So, that resting position, which is called ultimate peace, is the aim of life, which is what we all seek actually. This is like, apparently somebody, I'll come back to Satchidananda, don't worry. Apparently somebody went to a village and there was this gentleman, please don't imitate him. There was this gentleman, because there are many young people nowadays who say, oh, you're very tired of life. I said, I'm 69, I'm not tired of life. So I usually ask them, are you taking any substances? That induces laziness, you don't want to do anything. But the whole philosophy of Karma Yoga is to work and keep the mind quiet, not to get drugged. Anyway, so what did I say? I went to the village and there was this farmer guy lying on a charpai. You know what a charpai is? One leg up, under the sun. So he went to him and he said, hey man, why are you wasting your time? He said, what do you mean? He said, if you do this, I can finance you, do this, then this will happen, you'll make more money, your farm will grow. Okay, then you can buy a car, you can buy a tractor. Okay, then you can happily lie down and relax. He said, man, I'm already doing it. Why are you disturbing me? So finally, I'm not saying we should all be in charpais. We will not enjoy it. For after 10 minutes, we want to do something. So what I'm trying to say is that peace of mind, that supreme understanding, when you touch that, it's called Satchidananda for certain reasons. Why is it called Satchidananda? Because Sat, the word Sat, Chit and Anand. Sat means the truth. What do you mean by truth? Truth meaning that which always is, as opposed to that which is here today and gone tomorrow. How long is this going to last? After some years, it's gone. Everything that we see on this earth is here today and gone tomorrow. The Rishis said that if it is the truth, it cannot be something that is here today and gone tomorrow. It has to be there always. So, with our eyes, we can't see any such thing. Everything that we see is here today and gone tomorrow. Right? And then rest in peace. I don't know whether there is peace because it's a dead body, so we can't say if it is in peace. But usually we write R.I.P., rest in peace. Babaji said R.I.P. actually means rise if possible. Who can accept the challenge? So, Sat means that which is, as opposed to that which appears to be and is not there tomorrow. Which is permanent, which is always there. And the good news is that in our true essence we are that. This is the good news. And Chit means that it is of the nature of consciousness. It's not unconscious, it's not matter, it's of the nature of consciousness. Feeling, understanding, awareness basically. And the last is Ananda, which means it is of the nature of bliss. What kind of bliss? Bliss which is again not that lasts for 2 minutes and goes off. Usually when we say happiness, it comes always with some pain behind it. You know, there are even people who think they torture themselves when they're happy. So that is linked to pain in some way. Otherwise, what would you think of people who's in this generation doesn't do it? I think there's one generation. They sit at night with a peg of single malt or whatever the kind they have, listening to sad songs of Saigal saying, what are you enjoying, man? So it has come to such a point that sorrow has become an enjoyment. When you say Anand, Ananda means joy that is everlasting. Which doesn't go after 2 pegs are over. Which is always there in us. And again, as I said, the good news is that the essence of that is in every one of us. You can't say it is not here. It's there. This is also the essence of the teaching of the Gita. The Krishna talks to Arjuna and at the end he says, finally man, this is what it is. You reach that which is in you, which is me, he says, which is Satchidananda, that which is happiness. Now there is one small little problem here, which is Sat is difficult to understand with our ordinary mind, because we know only the Asat. All the things that we know are here today and gone tomorrow. It's difficult to conceive of something that is always there. And Chit, consciousness, the only consciousness we are aware of is that now I am conscious of the microphone and so on. We don't know the essence of God. But there is one thing which we are all aware of in some way, and that is Ananda, happiness. This we know, not maybe in the ultimate sense, but in small things we know what is happiness. If I keep a few flowers on the table, I feel happy. If I say a good word to somebody, I feel happy. Or if you tell me, oh, you're a good man, I'm just saying, I feel happy. So there are these little happinesses which we have in life, which we understand. So therefore, what is happiness? It is to do with the heart, with the feeling, not so much with the intellectual, even the feeling, right? So in Satchidananda, the easiest thing that human being can understand is Ananda, not Sat and Chit. So I am saying from Ananda, let's climb to Chit and Sat. So this Ananda is the feeling of happiness when we talk about the divine, when we talk about good things, when we do unselfish actions, when we see others happy. If there is some happiness in us, then if we can stay with that happiness, it will lead you to the Chit and it will lead you to the Sat. So turn it around. Which is why in this particular century which we are passing through, when although we think that we are the most intelligent, we are idiotic. We can't grasp the reality. The Bhagavad says, the Bhagavatam always laments, saying, in this world, in this time we are passing through, when human beings have limited intellect, we say, no, this can't be. We are so intelligent. We are even artificial intelligence now coming up. So, but joy we can all understand. Happiness we can all understand. So, this is why the heart is sometimes more important than the brain. The brain has its limitations, but the heart has none. When I say heart, I'm not talking about the organ that pumps blood, please. Talk about something, the core of your being. You can embrace the whole world with the heart. You can't with the brain because it is still limited, however much it expands. So, which is why it is important that the word bhakti or devotion is important. Because in this period of time we are passing through, that is the thing we can understand better than all the intellectual speculations. No. The same word, Satchidananda, what time do we have? Till 12:30? No questions today, huh? Tomorrow. In the evening session we can discuss. We can throw stones. Now apparently there is no money to buy stones. So, what did we say? Yeah. There is another beautiful term for Satchidananda. The great Vedavyasa, when he wrote the very advanced Vedantic scripture called the Brahma Sutra. Don't try to read it, it's quite funny. It's great, but it's not easy. So when Vyasa wrote Brahma Sutra, which starts with Athato Brahma Jijnasa, here begins the study of the Brahman and so on. Here I haven't studied myself fully to get the Brahman anyway. So it's meant for great people. So when Vyasa describes Satchidananda, the essence of the truth in the Brahma Sutras, as Asti Bhadi Priya. Beautiful term, Asti Bhadi Priya. Instead of Sat Chit Ananda, he describes it as Asti, Bhadi and Priya. Now Asti, the word Asti means, is the same as Satya, that means that which is. Asti, it is, which means as opposed to things which are not. But we think they are, but they are not. How can a temporary thing be there? We may think it's there, but it's gone tomorrow. So, as opposed to that, if there is something which always is, which is existence, Asti, Sat, and Bhadi, it is self-effulgent. It doesn't need any support from any other place to survive, and it is conscious. And the last word describes this better than even the word Ananda and Satchidananda, which is Priya, Asti Bhadi Priya. How many of you young people, if you don't write Hindi these days, Mere Priya Anand Koli Kareem. What is Priya? Dearness, love, affection. Right? So this Priya can be understood. Because we all know in some form, maybe in the grossest form, we still know what Priya is, right? How many people fall in love? I don't know why they say fall in love. Why don't we climb in love? Because you have to shed many things to do that. Even this ordinary worldly love which we call, we know of people who are ready to leave their families, who are ready to jump into the well. Why? Because of love. Ordinary. It could be hormonal, doesn't matter. Still. So, Priya is understood by everybody. I always say, I love this Priya and so on. So, now, can you imagine some Priya, which is 1 crore times multiplied by this little Priya that we know of? In fact, the Upanishads, the Rishis have tried to describe it and failed. I always say, even ordinary love one cannot describe, one cannot explain. So how do we explain that, which is the essence of everything, which is the supreme? What happens when 2 young people stand at the bus stop looking at each other? What happens? What are they looking at? No speech. Ask them what do you, kuch hota hai. Kya hota hai? What happens? You can't explain. Reasons may be, as I said, chemical, hormonal, various things, but can't even explain that. So can you explain that Priya, which is the supreme real? You can only feel it. So, Asti Bhadi Priya is a beautiful description of Satchidananda. So where should we start? First start with love. I'm not saying fall in love, no? Love and affection, Don't be here, don't be so self-centered, break, move. People think simply by speculating, aham brahmasmi. Not possible. Can you say aham brahmasmi and stand before a speeding train? Yeah, if you really are Brahman, you wouldn't mind it going through you, but you can't. But you can understand love and affection. Right? So that is the essence of our being. And its ultimate sense when there is no self-centeredness, when you're not loving for anything to do with you, when it's pure joy, that joy is, Tantra describes it, anantam anandam brahma, that ananda which has no anta, no end. Luckily, all of us have it. So do you find it? If the mind is made quiet, if the energies which are dissipated are made quiet, there is nothing mysterious in it. If anybody is whispering behind closed doors, run away. There is nothing. The truth is self-evident, like the sun. There is no hidden secrets in it. It's like the sun. So, it is to this that the ancient Upanishads said, Uttishta jagrata prapya varanya bodhat. Stand up, get up. Don't sleep. You're sleeping the sleep of ignorance. Stand up and don't stop till you reach the goal. And the goal, luckily for us, is in us. It's nowhere else. Clean the mind, bring the mind into a certain discipline. Calm it, quieten it. Let the thought process become very quiet and calm. Then you will see the divine reflected in us. So this is going to be an attempt that we are going to make. If at the end of 2 days, if at least 2 people go out saying, I found it. I don't know. Don't think it is impossible, please. Don't think that there is some secret technique if you do that. I know that many people want to take Kriya, I understand. But when you take Kriya, I'm going to tell you what it's all about. Don't think that one can touch the truth simply by practicing breathing up and down. Well, it helps in some way. We'll discuss that at that point. But there are other factors which are involved, and that background is what I was building up just now. Understand this. This is what we are seeking. And when that is touched, there is nothing more to be attained. That doesn't mean you become a dead body. There is nothing more to be attained, about which the Vedas declared Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamadu. It's completeness. And it is seeking this completeness that we live this life in this world thinking, if I do this, I will be complete. If I do that, I will be complete. If I have a child, I will be complete. If I become the big boss, I will be. But I never get to completeness till I die. We are saying it's here, the completeness. Find it within you. And then you see this is the aim of life. That's what we are really doing, not knowing that we are. I think I've talked too much now. This was not a dialogue, I thought we were going to. This was a monologue, sorry. But sometimes monologues, if you read the Gita, it's called Samvad. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, Brahma Vidyayam, Yogashas, Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvad. It's called a Samvad. And yet who is talking most of the time? Yeah, in between Arjuna butts in and says, hey, wait. I'm saying this. Then he says, okay. When Arjuna feels depressed, then Krishna calls him Mahabahu, strong-limbed one, and then takes him up and goes on. Again at the end of it, Arjuna says, wait. Dhyana Yoga, you are saying the mind should be like that which is not shaken, the flame without wind. How can I do it? I can't do it. He says, it's easier to control the wind than the mind. So what are you talking about? The middle of the dialogue. Arjuna Uvacha. Then again, Bhagavan Uvacha. So, You need to look into this. If Arjuna did not understand till the end what is going on, except at the end, so how do we expect to know that? Not even Arjunas. We have already dropped our bows and said, no, I'm not going to fight this, I'm going to carry on with the stream. We have to move. See, the thing is, most of us move according to the flow, the wave. Few people stand up and turn around and say, let me swim against the current. So when such a thing happens, people usually say, this guy is a nut. This is not going to work. So, I'm hoping that we are all nuts now together. In the sense that we are not normal. We are a little abnormal. We are trying to find out that which others don't even think of. Good. So let's say this is possible. Please don't think in 2 days. When you go home and also think about it. Maybe when sometimes these things happen when you're not even thinking about them. I know the case of a person who meditated and did Kriya for 20 years, almost 10 hours a day. Nothing little happening. People come to me and ask, I've been doing Kriya, nothing is happening, so I don't know what they mean. Anyway, and then one day, he said, got fed up, I don't think this is going to work. He went and sat under a tree and looked up at the sky, so a cloud came. Suddenly something happened and he said, that's it, got it. So you don't know when it happens. I'm going to stop now, it's 5 minutes to 12:30, and I'll give you a little story and stop with that, okay? Sorry. This is the story about Dzogchen master. Have you heard of something called Dzogchen? Dzogchen. Dzogchen is an ancient teaching among the Buddhists, not Buddhists, among Tibetan Buddhists, which was, the first school of Tibetan Buddhism came from Padmasambhava. It's still called Guru Rinpoche. It means Guru, the precious jewel, Rinpoche. When people say Rinpoche Ji, I get worried, because there is no need to add Ji, it already means Ji, Rinpoche. So anyway, the Dzogchen teachings are the first pure form which was introduced by Padmasambhava, who was a great tantric yogi and so on, who went from Udyan, which is now in Afghanistan. It's interesting, which hall is called Panini? This one. Do you know that Panini was a Pathan from Peshawar, who wrote the complete Sanskrit grammar? What's that? Why? Because in those days the territory was bigger. Afghanistan, Gandhari came from Gandhar, which is Kandahar now. So anyway, Padmasambhava came from Udyan, which is now in Afghanistan. And he brought this particular teaching, which is called the Nyingma Pas, the original teachings of the Tibetan Buddhists, first school. And they have a teaching called the Dzogchen. Now the Dzogchen is very interesting. It's like they do a lot of study and meditation and everything, but what happens suddenly without anybody's knowledge. About this Dzogchen teacher, I'm going to tell you a story and then we wind up for today. I'm sure everybody is waiting for the photography session. I'm not. So there was this disciple of a Dzogchen master who was with him for 13 years. And he kept telling him every day, nothing is happening. I've been here with you for 13 years, nothing is happening, nothing is happening. So one day the master called him and said, You see that hill there, yonder hill, big hill, yes. You see that bag out there, a cloth bag, yes. You see a lot of stones lying there, yes. You said, so the master said, clear, at least you understand this much. There is a mountain, there is a bag, and there are stones. He said, now, pick up the stones and fill them into the bag. So he picked up the stones and filled them into the bag till it was around 50 or 60 kgs of stone. Then he said, tie it up. Okay, now he said, place it on your shoulders and then climb up the hill. Now this guy said, no, this is almost an impossible task, but you have to obey the master. So he picked it up and trudged along and climbed the hill with great difficulty. At the top of the hill there was nothing except a tree there standing with shade. He reached there. And the master, quietly, he was not carrying a load, you see, so he quickly came up there. Then he said to him, now, how do you feel? He said, Master, it's enough. Okay, so he said, throw it off. So he threw it off. And then he sat under the tree. And he said, oh my God. He said, I found it. He said, I found Satsang, because the burden has been thrown away. So we carry our own burdens, gathered over the years, like sacks full of stones. We are not ready to throw it down our shoulders, and yet we want to be free. So, maybe sometimes we'll throw it off and be free. Thank you. And those of you who are interested in Kriya, I think there is a session tomorrow. Okay, we'll talk about it in the evening. Thank you for listening patiently to my ramblings. Sometimes they are like ramblings, but we are going to be here for 2 days together. Please, let's be friends. Let's not be enemies. Okay? Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Okay.